way you did that there, I was like, yeah. I'm like, what the fuck?
Do you want to start doing the intros? Over to Andy.
No, you do it, it's fine.
You sure? You okay with that?
We'll do the podcast.
Right,
Yeah.
cool. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another 40 to Level 1. I'm one of your hosts, Alistair Kennedy. Here with me, as always, the former Twilight Princess of all games, the current Twilight Princess of YouTube, the former CEO of Microsoft, Mr. Negative himself.
Mr. Andy here, as always. Not a Sony pony, like Ali.
Yes, you are. You're worse.
I play my Xbox more than my PlayStation.
Doesn't mean you like it more.
I didn't say that. But I'm not a Sony pony.
Oh, you absolutely are. You're the worst for
I
it.
love Game Pass.
Game Pass is awesome.
Yeah, Ali's wearing a PlayStation t-shirt. If you're listening, that's why I'm calling him a Sony pony.
Oh, your lips are totally not synced with your mouth.
Yeah, see, like this happened to me when we were doing the show the other week. I couldn't look at you because your lips were not synced to what you were saying. It was very annoying.
Yeah, it's okay as long as it goes to YouTube the right way. So if it's fine on YouTube, I'll just put up with it.
I just couldn't look at you. How bad is the PlayStation Store on the PS5? By the way,
really bad.
Like it's fucking terrible. Like I've got £10 PlayStation credit just now, right? And I'm like, oh, look, maybe I'll pick up something for like a tenner. And I'm like, oh, maybe I could get a PlayStation 5 game. Let's see what came out, because games always come out on a Tuesday. And like I go to like, oh, latest releases, and it's like, oh, here's fucking Deathloop and like Final Fantasy 14. I'm like, okay, Deathloop's not out yet. Final Fantasy 14, no, this is an old game. I want a new game. But it's very bad. I do not like it. Even the new version on the like online is not a good version. Like I do not like this at all. Awful. Horrible. I don't like. Anyway. Did you check the stream? Is it... How are my lips on the stream? Are they lippy? Can't hear you. You're muted.
It seems to have got better. I'm unsure how.
A bit lag.
Yeah, there is a bit of lag. There's a way to fix it, but I can't remember what Fraser said to do. Oh yeah, do monitor audio and sync offset.
Your lips.
I don't know.
Your lips.
Do you know what you can hear? So.
It will be fine.
Yeah, so yeah, let's just start the show. I'm going to go first, because I can do that sort of thing. I've had a very low week of gaming, because I have kids with colds, and when two kids have two colds, then it's like spinning plates, so I barely played anything. I did try to go back to Resident Evil 8. I'm very stuck at a bit. Basically, I am at the part of the castle where I need the fourth mask. I've killed both daughters. I was making good progress up to this part. Basically, it's almost as if it's stuck in a scripted moment that's not scripted. So, as everyone knows, the tall lady follows you through the house, the castle, and you have to run away basically because she's like Mr. X. And the daughters will sometimes trap you as flies. So I'm at the part where I need to go in I know where I need to go, but every time I go there, the flies appear, right? Now, when the daughters turn into flies, it slows you and drips away at your health, so you're moving slower. At that moment, Hightower herself comes round and swipes at me with her a big claw. And I end up dying or having not enough health to even make it worthwhile. So I keep reloading, keep trying to distract the lady, and then going up the stairs. And for some reason, at that exact point, they keep spawning. And I spoke to people that have played it, And they have said that, no, that's not a scripted moment. It just seems to be stuck in a spawn loop. So what they say is try and get them to chase you, but it's easy enough to get the tall lady to chase you because you can get away. But see, when the flies are there, they kind of like block off doors so that you're trapped. Do you know what I mean? So it's very difficult to do it. So I gave up. I don't have enough time to waste on games like that. But I'm going to go back to Resident Evil, but I don't have enough time to sit being stuck at a part of a game for that long. And I know, like, my friend Darren, you know as well, like, he's now finishing it in 5 hours, the entire game. He's trying to get the trophy of finish the entire game in 3 hours. I haven't even put 3 hours into Resi, to be fair. I'm maybe 2 hours in. And that's practically because I got stuck at that part 2 hours in. I found 3 out of 4 masks. Basically, my last stream, more or less where I got to, that's kind of where I finished up. But Mass Effect Legendary Edition has kind of sucked me in. Again, I'm 17 hours into that. Not been stuck once. Absolutely loving it. I was going to do a playthrough, Andy, that was just complete story. And I changed my mind because I get so sucked in with the story. I'm like, do you know what? I could go and finish this. I could have finished it 3-4 hours ago and completed the game because I know where I'm at, what I'm doing. And I'm only playing it on normal. I'm not doing like hard or insane. So I just get too involved with the story again. I'm like, I want to go to these planets. I want to find these things. And that's a testament to how good this game story is and worlds it is and how involved it is, because again, I've said it several times, I've never finished an RPG this many times. And like Mass Effect 1 is an RPG. Sure, it's got slight action elements, and then Mass Effect 2 and 3 are more action RPGs, but this one's definitely based on RPG. And like, if you play it without guns, it's nearly full on RPG if you're just using the magic / biotics. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And last night I flicked back from Legendary Edition to the original one. Previously stated it was okay to still play, but I hadn't sank as many hours in, as you know. After 17 hours and then flicking directly back to the original Mass Effect, I was like, whoa, why is it moving that way? Like, why does it look so dull and grey? Where's the colours? Like, why does the music not sound crisp? Like, why is the shooting all fucked? This Mass Effect 1 original version is not acceptable after all. I changed my statement. Never play that version of the game. The game is dead in its original form, especially in 2021. I played a good 20 minutes of the original one last night. And you're like, why? If you can't tell, I love these games. I just wanted to compare it because I was slightly behind where I am on my current save on the original Mass Effect 1. And just playing through the same section and then hitting a corridor that's been removed in Legendary Edition. And it's literally a corridor to nothing. It's just extending the level and making it feel bigger. And it's like, why is this in it? Like, and obviously in Legendary Edition they've shortened parts like that and they took out some of the unnecessary stuff, but it's not until you, if anybody's got Legendary Edition, I would suggest if you've got Game Pass, download the original on EA Access and just compare it, play through some sections, and you'll see that it's not just a stereotypical remaster. It's not just tweaking of like the shooting, of the mechanics of the guns. They've actually retweaked the levels to take away infuriating parts. Like I described before, one of the stations, there's a part where you have to go down the stairs, round the corner and up the stairs to get to the club. And seeing the new version, they've just done away with that and you can just walk straight across from the elevator. And it's small things like that that show to me this is the most love and care I have ever seen in a remaster. I'm not talking remakes, I'm talking a remaster. I think this is the pinnacle of remasters that anybody's ever seen, personally. I really do.
I suppose some of the other ones are not remasters, they're not remake. Like Shadow is like,
it's a remake. There's 2 remakes.
Okay,
yeah, so like what I mean is most remasters that you see, Andy, what they've done is tweak the graphic settings or unlock frame rates. In this, they've actually went in and edited sections of levels to make them more savourable, to make them more playable. They've removed parts that were unnecessary. You know, this is like a director's cut of the first game. That's the best way to describe it. Not an extended cut, do you know what I mean? Like the directors went in and chopped parts that he went, do you know what? This wasn't needed, and slows the game down. Let's take it out. Let's make it quicker. Let's make it more fun, accessible, and yeah, I'm definitely getting that from it. Like I even tried to get into cover in the original Mass Effect, and Shepard just ran against the wall. Like in this new one, at least when you pull the gun out and go to cover, he ducks. It's not the best cover mechanic, but it happens. right?
Terrible.
No. Compared to the original Mass Effect, it's a revelation. Like, but you don't realise that.
Gears. I'm comparing it to Gears.
But I'm not. But this isn't a cover-based shooter. This is an RPG game with cover in the game. It's not a cover shooter by any means. Like, so the cover in this game works. You can hide behind it. In the original Mass Effect, you can't even run, Andy. Put it that way. There's not even the run buttons there. Every now and then, you'll get a burst of speed and he'll run, but it's like, what did I do that made him run? Like, I'm holding A. So, yeah, until you've played them both like that, or you jump, or at least get them and compare them, you can appreciate what they've done because it is playable, but you don't fully appreciate it after sinking quite a lot of hours like I did, and then going back to a game that you've already sank countless hours into and directly playing it in comparison like 2 minutes after with quick resume by swapping between them. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is no, unacceptable. So yeah, I could easily have finished this by next week, but it just depends. I don't want to rush the game. I know I've missed some parts and I knew I'd fucked it the minute. There's I don't want to ruin anything for you, but there's a section where you can't go back to the Citadel for X amount of time for X reason. And there was something I had to do in the Citadel and I forgot, and I'm like, I can't ever go and do that now. Because X happens when you go back to the Citadel, and it prevents me from doing X that I needed to do, and I'm like, fuck. And I know you don't really care because you're playing like naturally, and obviously the first time I played it naturally, but I know certain things I want to happen to my Shepherd playthrough, and I'm like, I can't do that now, so I've just got to accept it and roll on, because usually I've got multiple saves in Mass Effect just in case. This time I went, I'm fine, and for some reason I went into autopilot last night and I was doing missions on Ilium. I can't remember what planet it was on, doesn't matter. And then I went back to the Citadel and I triggered a certain mission, and it kind of leads you to a path to the end, and you can still explore the rest of the galaxy, but you just can't go back to the Citadel for a bit.
Right.
So I'm like, no. So yeah, go back to the Citadel frequently, people, and speak to people.
You fucked it.
I didn't ruin the entire game. I maybe just ruined something that could happen in Mass Effect 3. That's all. Which is, it's nuts that these games are so interconnected. But anyway, I'm still loving it. Still brilliant. Story, characters, everything. I can't wait for Mass Effect 2. I'm really looking forward to playing through that, because that was my favourite of them all. And I can't wait to finish Mass Effect 3. But Mass Effect 1, I'm still really enjoying it. What else? I played football games last night, Andy. I played...
Oh my god, why did you do this?
I've explained several times to you. You don't know how many times your ears need to hear it.
I know you've told me, but like for the watchers and listeners, maybe you should tell them.
So
it comes completely out of the blue for them.
True. So I don't like domestic football, I suppose. I used to. I've talked about that before in the show. I used to follow Manchester United quite passionately. I even bought the single Move. I had the Red Tribe album as well. I had Fred the Red Soft Toy. I had the Bicentennial top. Used to love it, and then it came to a point where I was like, do you know what? I've wasted an hour and a half watching a game that can end in a draw, and I have to be happy with that. I'm like, I want a winner in my sports. I want every time there to be a winner. I don't want 0-0. I don't want 1-0. I don't want 2 each. And I get bored. I'm like, do you know what? I'm done. And it was about that time, though, that I'd started getting tickets from secondary school to go and see the Ayr Scottish Eagles. And I went, there's a winner every time. They do overtime and then they do penalty shootouts. Why doesn't football do that? So that's why I gave up in football. And then obviously, the last few years I've kind of swayed over to basketball a lot more because my Maple Leafs don't play very well. But for this year, they're doing all right. But basketball is kind of my jam these days. But like football, I always watch the World Cup, or at least try and watch bits of it. I wouldn't cry if I missed a game. I'm not going to like moan if I don't see it. But I don't mind international competition when it's like countries, and Scotland especially, obviously, and this is the first time Scotland's qualified for the Euros in 25 years, 25, 24, 25, can't count, but 96 anyway. And I remember listening to that on the radio, and it was Scotland and they were playing, and then I remember England winning the group stages, and a person in my school smashing the radio, and yeah, it was funny. So because we were doing a school play. Couldn't tell you what the play was, but I remember listening to the football games every night of the week because it was the end of the group stages, and England, I believe, won our group, and I remember when they won, somebody threw the radio. So like, so Scotland's in the Euros, and I'm like, do you know what? I'm going to play it, because listeners of the show before we went on YouTube will know I did buy FIFA 3-4 years ago, the one with Ronaldo in the front, because they had the World Cup mode. Because I like playing the World Cup, didn't play Korea, didn't play anything like that. And this time round, the Euros have went to Pro Evo, which is on Game Pass. And do you know what? The game, I can see why you like it better than FIFA. It seems more technically proficient. However, this is nearly a 3-year-old game now, because it got developed 3 years ago. It came out in 2019, and all we're playing is last year's update for it. So the skins, textures and everything don't really look good in comparison with the next gen FIFA. So it just looked horrible. It looked kind of grainy, blurry, and don't get me wrong, this year's might be better, but again, it won't have the Euros in it because it's on this one. And I was playing through the Euros and I'm like, I like the passing and stuff better, but the graphics were just, I'm sorry, I'm beyond last gen, especially games that are now sports games that are 3 years old. Like, I wouldn't play NBA 2018 anymore. So, like, this was just a no. So I fired up FIFA, and like, they don't have the Euros, but I could get to play Scotland and England in a nice looking game. But the controls felt, and I don't know if I'm right saying this, well, I know how games play, they felt more arcadey, very much so, than Pro Evo. So it was like pass, you push, pass, and I'm like, how can I not control the distance? Because like in Pro Evo, obviously, this is one of the first times I played it, probably since ISS. You hold down the button and you can control the distance, which I really liked that about it. It was a bit more of a challenge. It felt like there's a lot more to learn. But see, in FIFA, I won no bother Scotland against England 2-0, and England's ranked a better team. So like, yeah, I did enjoy it, and like, I don't think I could sit down and play a season mode and all that nonsense. But yeah, it was fine. But again, I can see your points on why you like Pro Evolution Soccer more so than FIFA. But yeah, FIFA, especially the next gen version, it really looked really nice. It really felt fluid. I like the presentation, the commentary, because it was really good. But it's Pro Evo used to have like absolutely none of the licenses apart from maybe one or two teams. But see, now, because it's this mixture, it's really weird, because like, you've got Manchester United, but FIFA have got the rights to Old Trafford. So when you're playing Manchester United, you're playing in Manchester Stadium, and it's like, but you've got Man U's license, so even the stadiums, the teams, the strips, and the players are like 4 separate licenses. And if FIFA get the exclusive in the stadiums, it means you can't call Old Trafford Old Trafford. It's ridiculous. Even though I've got the full Man U team, I've got the exclusive rights to David Beckham in Pro Evo, but I can't play in Old Trafford. I can play in a lookalike Old Trafford that looks exactly fucking like it. So it's strange. And then like, if you go to FIFA, I can play in Wembley, but I can't play the Euros in Wembley because they've got the exclusive. It's a whole fucking mess. Like, that's ridiculous. The last time something like this happened, it wasn't even as bad, was when, in fact, like, it's a current one, because NBA Live's coming back, as far as I'm aware. That's EA's basketball game. There's none of this nonsense. It's like NBA Live's got all the teams, and so is NBA 2K. And it was the same when it was NHL 2K and NHL EA. They both had all the teams and all the stadiums. There wasn't like, you can't have that one. So it's a really strange situation for fans of the game. And like I said on Friday night, my idea was like, you said it was a good idea for football fans, for like being able to play as classic teams and classic players, but I don't know why they don't do that, because in the NBA you can absolutely do it. Like, I'm going to hazard a guess that Michael Jordan is one of the most expensive licenses to add to your game. Just going to guess, but they managed to add them in.
I think you've actually probably hit the nail on the head as to why they don't do it here. It's
Pricing.
Probably because the licenses,
because the club don't own the player's license, whereas in basketball I think they might. Like, they look, because Jordan's one of the only players that trademarked himself and made himself a brand, so he's got the rights. And like, there are players like Charles Barkley that can say, you're not using my likeness, you know. So I don't know, it's confusing. But then again, like in the football, like, you've got different levels of players and their status. Even somebody might be good on the pitch, but then, for example, Paul Scholes, really good on the pitch, but David Beckham, he's a brand name. You're going to be able to get Paul Scholes easier than David Beckham. it's a weird thing. Yeah, it's just a weird situation that football has with rights and licenses. But yeah, so I played that. I didn't play anything else that I could think of, so I had a pretty like timid week. I played Gears obviously with Andy. You can check that out in the stream. Gears of Wednesday last week. We only played a half hour last week, but yeah, we're still making progress through 5. I'm definitely not enjoying 5 as much as 4 or Judgment, but like yeah, 5's 5. It looks nice and all, but I'm just. We're not even at the main sort of hub world, believe it or not, yet. We're not even at the main sort of section. We're still kind of just past the title screen.
That fucking parasail thing, man. What the fuck was that all about? Like,
that's your mode of transportation, yeah. That's your loading screen. So yeah, you've got that.
I hated that. That was terrible.
I genuinely don't think I played anything else. I'm trying to think. I did watch Army of the Dead. I know we don't do big screen, wee screen. Zack Snyder's new zombie film. Yeah, it wasn't a bad film. You need
to say anything more about it. It was a bad film.
Well, it wasn't a bad, but the whole thing felt like a giant. And I know they're doing more things with it. They're doing like they're doing a prequel and they're doing like a spin-off anime, and there's talks of a sequel already. It felt like a giant pilot episode for a TV show. It had some interesting enough threads that I'm like, I want to know more about it. But the film viewed by itself was kind of like, meh. Like, it felt like it should have been more action orientated in the trailers and a big, fun, messy zombie Dead Rising style movie. Whereas, like, here's one example. Like, the character, I can't remember the character's name. He had the big giant saw. Right, so basically, imagine a big giant buzzsaw, and they hype this up all the way through, and he's like, give me that, that's mine. The only time that's used is to cut a hole in a wall. They never like cut down zombies with it or anything, and I'm like, okay. Batista's really good, but I knew Batista was good because I liked him in Guardians and I've liked him in other movies that I've seen, so I fully believe that Batista can be an action hero lead man in a movie. Yeah. It just wasn't the film I wanted it to be, so there's that. There's nothing, like, I literally didn't play anything else that I can think of. Fortnite added basketball. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that actually. So on the way to work today, I seen some kids outside with a basketball, and I went, oh cool, they must be hyped for the playoffs. Me too. I didn't speak to them, but that's what went on in my head because I'm a basketball fan. And as I walked down Castle Hall Road, I'm like, those kids don't watch basketball. I kept walking. I was like, it's just weird. It's just a random thing for them to be playing. I went down a street called Mill Wynd where I stay, and it's behind like Boots Tam O'Shanter, and there was a group of kids with a basketball, and he was trying to do crossovers. I went, oh cool, he's doing tricks. But then I seen somebody doing the floss, a few folk doing I can't remember all the names of the dances, and I'm like, oh fuck, they're playing with basketballs because of Fortnite. That's how much this game has reached. And I'm not joking, Andy. Like, later on in the day, it was kind of quiet. And then I realised, no, you're not allowed to do that these days. A kid walked down the street with another basketball down the high street, and I went, oh, I'll take a photo and send to Andy. I went, no, you can't take photos of random kids. But, like, that was 3 kids today with a basketball, from what I assume is because Fortnite's just added basketball and basketball emotes. That's insane, the impact this game has on youth culture just now. Like, that's nuts. These kids probably never thought about basketball before, but they're brand new basketballs. They're clearly going to Sports Direct and picking these things up. Do you know what I mean? Like,
they're not that dear. Like,
no.
What, like £10-15 or something like that for like
if even,
a cheap basketball?
If even for a cheap basketball. So like, I mean, I've got like a Spalding, like official NBA one. It was only £15. So yeah, but I mean, it's cool, but it's nuts the fact that my brain just instantly went, oh cool, they must be excited about playoffs as well. And it's like, no, they're not. Once I've seen the second group of kids and they were all dancing and stuff, I'm like, they're acting out Fortnite in the streets, and it's made this kid go and get a basketball. But to me, that's awesome. That's a really cool thing. But it's just, it's actually scary to think the power this game has when you look at it like that, you know?
Did they have a net? That's my question. Did they have a net, like a hoop to shoot into?
Like on their back, like back bling? No, they didn't. No,
not like that, but like up on a wall or something.
Well, they were behind Boots in air, so where the fuck would the net be?
I mean, I don't know, but like they might have had a portable one or
no, they weren't playing basketball. They were playing Fortnite with a basketball. Was basically what they were doing. Like I've seen kids in the playground doing the Fortnite dances before. You know what I mean? But now they've added a basketball, and at first my brain just went instantly to NBA, and it is technically, but it's like all these jokes, you know, you see the replies of like a movie star, like say they added Wolverine and somebody puts up a Hugh Jackman thing, and it's like somebody always replies underneath, every 14-year-old, oh look, it's that guy from Fortnite. You know, that's the ongoing joke that every kid thinks that, oh, that's the guy from Fortnite, when it's like an established movie star, cartoon character, blah blah.
Yeah.
It's true though. That's what these kids, and it just shows you, like, you wonder why, how does Fortnite land all the licenses? That's fucking why. There's kids in the streets now with basketballs in Scotland, which is an unusual thing in Scotland, to be kicking about with basketballs outside in the 90s.
Yeah, okay, fair. Like, because when I was at school, we did have a basketball. We
also had the Chicago Bulls when we were wee. Like, the good ones.
And, like, everyone knew who the Bulls were, like
Jordan.
Michael Jordan, Scott.
Yep. But these days, not everybody knows LeBron James. They will after Space Jam 2, but they don't just now.
Yeah. I used to play basketball, like,
so
like at the back of the school now and again, like, because we had a full size court there. It was like a clay court. Clay? Is it clay?
Yeah, it would have been
concrete court. Concrete court, not
clay.
It was not nice. It was not nice if you fell on it, put it that way.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like back in the 90s, I think there was a popularity boost because of the Chicago Bulls, and they were worldwide.
Yeah. Sure.
Which is crazy to think how big an American sports team was when there was no social media, Andy. This was based off of the front page of the newspaper and the basic clips of Basketball Channel 4 sometimes put out, you know, with their NBA program. So it just shows you their reach. But like, that is nothing to do with is NBA, but it's to do with the advertising Fortnite's provided for NBA. So that just shows you, if you want kids to know about and buy your product, get a skin in Fortnite. Like, if it makes it to Scotland, and 3 separate occasions today I seen kids with basketballs, that just says everything to me. You know, crazy.
I didn't see anyone in my locale with a basketball. But like when I was at home, it was first thing in the morning, like when kids would have been just at school, and then obviously when I got home, kids probably had having dinner.
True.
My kid hasn't mentioned anything about basketball, but she's not playing Fortnite now. So and when I was out the house today, I was in the city for the entire day in a shop. So
yeah, you're not going to see it really.
Bringing a basketball into the shop.
but I mean, Ayer's a smaller, well, it's not even a city, it's a smallish, medium town in Scotland. And I mean, I stay in a very neighbourhood area out in Forehill, just outside the town. And I mean, even inside the town, it's a lot more family-ish. You'll see kids walking up the high street with footballs, whereas in Glasgow, you don't really see it. You might now and then. But not the way that Ayr has it, because I mean, there's still housing in Ayr. There's still families that stay directly in the town centre. So, yeah, there is that. I mean, I used to. So
a lot of folk, you'll see them walk through the town
to the beach,
to like go to their pal's house or go to the beach or go to the park or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't see that so much in Glasgow.
No, you don't. So like, but I just thought it was cool, and it's just when my brain clicked what it was. It was just such a weird experience to have that. I mean, like these kids, and I went, oh, cool. That is literally what my brain went as I was listening to my podcast on the way to work, which was kind of funny, even though I got called a traitor today by Greg Miller.
Lady.
So
I found that so funny.
It was funny, but I wanted to do a shout out to Fred Rojas. His new podcast is spot on. He is doing a retroactive podcast, and he's kind of got it almost like a variety show in a way. No, I don't mean like the variety show, but he's got it in segments. So like, he does his own sort of in-depth hardware analysis, like he covered FGPA, which was really interesting to me because obviously I own the Analog SG Mega Drive, and he talked quite a bit about that. And then he cut to him and Chase, I believe, cannot remember, sorry Chase, what show you were from, but they were discussing.
I think it's Learn From Gaming is Chase's show. Yeah,
he's got a good voice, man. He's got a good voice. I was interested in him, but Fred's an old friend of the show, and Fred has messaged me about doing something, and I did get back to him, so maybe I'll be popping up I will be popping up with podcast. I'm not going to keep secrets from our people. I'm going to be on it. But like Fred, as you've probably seen, I done an Ali Meets Fred. Fred's been guesting on the show loads of times. Andy's been on Gaming History 101. We knew him from the B Team. Me and Andy have been on Gaming History 101 together for the Sonic special. many times.
I've been on that show.
Fred's a great host, so I decided to listen to his new show on the way back, and I don't like Ease. That's YS, Ease the RPG. I knew Fred was crazy about it, but he was that interesting, and like Fred's always interesting, but there was something about the way that this one was presented, and I know Fred's calling it short form, but it doesn't make a difference. What he was saying was interesting enough to go, do I need to play this game now? And I don't. I looked at Ease and I went, do you know what, I'm not going to play it. And Fred would tell me opposite. He would say, go and play it, Ali, but I simply don't have time. But it was really cool that he managed to like chat in a way that got me interested about it. So if Greg Miller doesn't want me to be a traitor, get Fred Rojas on, and I would love to see him on Kind of Funny. But the main thing that I want to see, this is the crossover that Fred, if you're watching, you need to make happen. I want to see Fred and Spawnwave collaborate and talk tech, because Fred is encyclopedic when it comes to knowledge about the internal workings of systems, which I'm brain dead about. Like blast processing, I can say things like that and sound important, but I don't know how.
Buzzword, mate. You're the buzzwords.
I'm the buzzword guy. I would love to see those two collaborate somehow. I would love to see Fred and Spawnwave hash it out and chat about things. But yeah, Greg, get Fred on and talk to Fred. I would watch that 100 times over. But yes, I will maybe be on. No, I'm not maybe. I'll be on Fred's show at some point, but he needs to keep up the good work. If you haven't checked out, it's on Spotify and iTunes that I know of. He sent me a Spotify link like 2 months ago when he was talking to me about starting it, and I don't use Spotify, so today I thought, do you know what, I'm going to listen to it on the way home, because my usual listening on the way in is Kind of Funny Daily or Kind of Funny Xcast, and on the way back I usually listen to whatever show Greg Miller's doing, and obviously he took offence to that today, so sorry Greg, but you'll still get my listening thumbs up. But that was quite funny. Obviously I didn't expect Greg Miller to reply, so
it's funny, Stitcher, I've been listening to podcasts on Stitcher
I forgot about that.
Years,
you have?
The entire time we've been doing the show, and Stitcher, though recently updated, and Stitcher's garbage now. It does not include your overall listen time anymore, and even just that turns me off of using it altogether. And like Fred's new show, I don't know if it's on Stitcher. I couldn't find it when I looked, so I listened to it on Spotify. I find that because I've got so much music on Spotify, I find it harder to find the podcasts, which is annoying.
So you should just use Google Podcasts, Andy. Google Podcasts is fantastic for a way of keeping it separate, because I agree, like Apple Music, like I wouldn't be wanting podcast, because that's what I use instead of Spotify. I wouldn't be wanting that color being the same. I like my podcast being separate, so I use the Apple Podcast app, but I used to have Google Podcasts, and it's a great app. Give it a try. I'm sure Fred will have it up there.
I'm sure it is. It's probably on Stitcher as well, but I just couldn't find it for whatever reason. But I listened to the East episode, and I still wouldn't play East. But you understand?
No, you understand what I'm saying. He captivates you in a way, and talks about the game. I was interested enough to listen to an entire episode about a game that I won't play, so that was cool. And it was good that it's a very similar form factor to Gaming History 101, but he managed to make it completely different. Like, it was really good the way that he presented it.
It did seem completely different. I totally agree with that. I liked the whole kind of intro bit at the beginning. It was good. I think, is there another episode up already?
There's 2 episodes now. Yeah, there is. I haven't listened to the second one. It's just I listen to a lot of Kind of Funny now, and that is my in and out of work. Maybe Greg knows. Maybe he was tracking me and he's like, you bastard, I know how you work. I know what you used to.
I think it's funny, like you made a tweet and just like tagged him in it, and like he actually replied.
Yeah. Like, he's a good guy.
Don't, like most kind of like
bigger journalists.
Not that famous, but he's
hosting E3. He's hosting E3.
Oh yeah, but
technically what we're doing is journalism, Andy. It just depends on how high quality it is.
He's not Dave Bautista, put it that way.
Yeah, but he's not hosting E3 either.
He's not, no. Greg Miller's bigger than Dave Bautista, holy shit.
Greg Miller's bigger. You had to hear first.
But yeah, I thought it was really funny that he replied to it, and like I had a good laugh when you showed me that. The speaking of Kind of Funny, I watched most of one of their episodes this week. Because they did, and this will dovetail into the games that I've played. I didn't play this game again, but they put up their drunk Let's Play of Emily is Away 3.
Oh God, is this your Facebook game?
The Facebook game, yeah. It's so fucking funny, man. Like honestly, their content playing this game is unbelievable. Like this is why I bought it for Fraser, because I'm like, this is good content to stream, and like I really enjoyed Fraser's.
Fraser did not like it either.
No, I know he didn't like it, but like I really enjoyed watching him play it. And he got into it enough. Like I don't care if he plays it or not, but like well, I do care if he plays it. I think he should play it, like because it gives you that kind of like.
I think you should play the damn Fireman game I bought you for Valentine's Day this year. Your dream game of all time, the game that you told me about, I hunted down like a Pokemon master and found for you, and you haven't even installed it.
I have installed it. I have just not played it.
Okay, fair enough. I'll wait that stream.
I don't know, like I'm not 100% confident that PC can run it, because it is a 3D engine game, and my PC is not great at running these 3D engine games, so we'll see. So buy a new PC.
I bought you a gift, you need to use it.
I will buy a new PC. I'm planning to build one, but the prices are fucking insane at the moment for all the components.
You know me, I've never built a PC, and it was funny, my dad came round the other day and like I gave him my old PC when I moved to laptop, and there was nothing wrong with it, but he's clearly broke the power button on it, and he said that he took it apart and tried to do X, Y and Z, and he was asking me, what wire does this such go in? And I went, does
Fraser?
I said, you bring it in, I'll give it to Fraser. He went, did you not build this? I went, no. He went, where'd you get it from? I said, custom PCs in Air. There's a plug for you. I said, take it back to those guys, they'll fix it. He went, okay, I'll do that. And I'm like, I said, I don't know why he thought I took it apart. My dad knows I don't do things like that. He's asking me, he went through everything, and I'm just staring at him like, what do you mean? Like, I understand 3 of the words you've said. I know what a wire is, but why would you crazy cat? Why even considering taking up? I remember the horror show when I tried to take apart a Joy-Con, and I'm like, what am I doing? I fucked everything. And that Joy-Con is still lying in a box in my loft. Like, just don't look at it. Every time I'm in, I'm like, don't look at your unfinished project when you decided you could change the colour of a Joy-Con. What were you thinking, man?
Like I could do that comfortably, like take apart a PC and
I'm not you though. I'm not you, and that makes me happy. But at the same time, I don't know what my dad was thinking. I don't know what was going through his mind. I don't know why he broke my PC in the first. Well, his PC now. I don't know why. It's a free PC. Deal with it, Dad.
It's broken. Throw it in the bin.
He broke it. That PC was broken. No, you wouldn't throw it in the bin because it's like kind of casing. There's still like an i5 in there with an Ivy bridge and some decent RAM you could take out of it. So I wouldn't bother binning it. Anyway, that's
unless the bits are broken.
He's maybe broke it now. He's like, I can turn it on with a screwdriver. Yeah. He said I can turn it on with a screwdriver if I stick a screwdriver in a certain point. And I'm like,
okay, yeah.
I think that's what you should be doing, but.
No, that's actually common. I have a computer that I use regularly that I turn on with a pen. So,
yeah, he says you just have to jam a screwdriver in a certain part, and I'm like,
yeah. No, that's right. So it's just the power button. That's
if my computer did that, I would just bin it and buy another.
Probably the switches just come off of the motherboard, so it probably just needs to be reattached. That's probably an easy fix.
You're asking the wrong guy. Like, just buy a new one. That was I just said buy one. That's mine. Like I use Apple for it. Like, you know me. If it doesn't work, it's not worth doing. Like, I need it to work. This is one of my biggest endeavours. Like, I don't know how I had the patience and time to do the podcast in the first place to get us on All Games all those years ago. Like, I don't know how I managed to have this. It's because I do like doing a podcast, but like, comes to a certain point where I'm like, I just want it to work. I just want it to work. I don't want to have to fix it or tinker with it. Just let me push go and let me start talking. That's what I want to do. I even hate my setup for the start of this show.
My StreamYard was good because it was just...
Yeah, it was, but yeah. That costs us money. But I like it now. I love what Fraser's done for us. Big fan, or whatever design it is. Fraser William Graham. I don't know. Fraser designed this. He's good. Message me and I'll link you to Fraser if you want designs and stuff. He'll charge you though.
He charges us as well. In love.
In love and cuddles.
But yeah, so I watched most of that Kind of Funny video. That's just a part 1 though, and the fucking video's 4 hours long.
Jesus.
So like,
no.
I'm only about 3 hours into it, but it's fucking hilarious. Like, totally recommend watching that. Obviously, if you're going to play the game, then play the game first, because they're good spoils the entire game.
I think everybody that was going to play this game has played the game, Andy, and that's you.
Probably. It sold quite well, like, and it got good reviews on Steam. So the guy will make another one. He must make enough money off them to keep making them. And every game's been more advanced than the last one. So, and it's made by one fucking guy. It's made by one guy.
Fair enough. Like, he's made a game I haven't. I can't comment.
Exactly. Like honestly, like if I could do what this guy does, like I would not stop doing it. I would just.
You could. You just don't have time to learn. We had this idea. We've had many brainwaves of money making ideas and like chats and stuff, and none of them have ever come to fruition because we're both like each other. We look into it and we're like, that's a lot of effort. I've got a child, a job, and a wife. I don't have time for any of this nonsense.
Nope. And I need to play games.
Yeah, I need to play games and talk about games. So anyway, actually, that's a good segue into Andy. Look at my PlayStation trophy. Like, and do you know what's cool? The shorts, I'm not going to stand up, but basically they're camo, and I don't like the camo PlayStation designs, but the camouflage is actually made up of DualShocks, the way that it's instead of like just the... I'll show you.
Ali, you're not wearing any shorts.
Yeah, no.
Ali,
these camo bits are actually DualShocks, just really cool.
I mean, I just see your bare legs and your dick. Like,
stop looking, filthy animal. But yeah, they're really cool. Pre-marking here. Fiver.
I don't like camo shorts like that. Totally.
Well,
the t-shirts too.
The t-shirts too. No, this is technically. I wear these to bed. This is just sleepwear, sleeping shorts, like PlayStation.
I
challenge.
I do not
like games, wasn't it?
Yes, I do not like white t-shirts at all. Like
what was it? The PlayStation did that. I've conquered worlds with the wee scary girl. I've conquered worlds.
Sure.
I've conquered worlds.
What players?
No, I'm sure there's one where it was like I've conquered worlds. I think it was.
Maybe.
I've conquered worlds. Worlds. Worlds.
That's horrible.
I've conquered worlds.
But anyway, like,
it's not Irish. I don't know what it is.
I did play a couple of games this week. I did not play Bloodborne because I was last night watching football.
How did that go for you, Andy?
It was not good.
After you're boasting to me, top flight for 28 years, I believe, was spouted at me as I was trying to wind you up because I don't watch football, and then what happened? Was it like your European campaign?
Yeah, it was bad. So yeah, Kamala got relegated last night, but like, I mean,
at least you can live out the fantasy life in Football Manager.
Yeah, they've probably endured relegation for a number of years at this point, and like, it's fine. And next year there'll be an Ayrshire derby against Ayr, so that'll be fun. Because most of my mates that support like local football teams all support Ayr, so it's good banter. Very good banter. In fact, Ross, your cousin Ross, he supports Ayr for some reason. I don't know why.
Ross supports. His dad is though, but he supports Rangers.
Right. Okay. But he supports Ayr too, because like I've had many funny conversations with him about Kilmarnock and Ayr. Like he gets very impassioned about it when he's drunk. It's hilarious. But yeah, so I did that last night. I didn't stream Bloodborne. I'll be back on Bloodborne next week. And I'll be fighting Mikolash. He's a weird guy. But anyway, I did play. Oh my god, it's too close. I did pick up NBA 2K21, and I played some of that. So I basically all it is I created my character, and then went to the neighborhood, because that's the only mode that I care about.
I've never accessed. Yeah.
Right, so that's the limit I want to play. I want to go to the neighborhood, but this neighborhood is a dickhead neighborhood. It's a dick neighborhood because it's gated. This neighborhood, the neighborhood's gated, right? So when you go in, you're in Rookieville, they call it, right? Because you're just a scrub player who's never done anything before, and you've got low ratings, and you're slow, and you wear a fucking brown shirt, and you're the scrub NBA player. So you go into this new neighborhood full of other scrubs, which is fine. Except for the fact that it's not fucking full. And because I'm playing the game, the next gen only release of the game way after the fact of it coming out. So the game came out, tail end of last year, and so it's been 6 months that the game's been out for. Most of the people that picked up the next gen version probably already way past Rookieville, and here's me in Rookieville with 2 other people in my neighborhood. And in order to progress in the Rookieville, you need to play matches, and you can play a 1-on-1 match against somebody, or you can play, I think it's a 3-on-3 match, same way as you would do in the normal game. So you can play a 3-on-3. But if you only have 3 people in your neighborhood, you ain't gonna be able to fucking do that because there's no one to play against. So I got stuck in this like loop of having to play against the same 2 guys over and over and over again. But I mean, the games take a lot longer when you're only 1-on-1. I found.
So this isn't a valid criticism on the game. This is a criticism on you're buying the game at the end of the season when, like you said, everybody's played it already.
This is a valid criticism of the game because I want to go into the city and play with my friends, right? And
but even your friends that would play this are already well above you.
They're well above me, yes, but I want to go and play with them.
Because this has been out since like September, October last year.
Totally, but in order for me to get to the city to play with them, to spend money potentially, because I might maybe have to spend money.
You won't.
Once I'm in, I won't, but maybe I would. Or see, I could pay money to skip the Rookieville.
You can. You can because you just buy VC and upspec your player. So don't talk shit.
This is what they're for. In fact, this is bullshit because they're now
not forcing you. What they're saying is you didn't even buy it directly from the company. You didn't buy it brand new, so they didn't receive any money from you.
I thank you very much. I did buy it brand new from
Where?
Shop2. I unsealed my game from
How
Shop2.
How much did it cost you?
£22.
Bollocks, you don't deserve anything for paying that. This is a brilliant game that came out like 7 months ago. 7 months ago, and you're now getting onto it when the season's done. That's like buying FIFA and expecting it still to... No, stop. This is a you problem. If you wanted this game, if you really wanted this game, you should have bought it. You know how sports games works. They flow with the season. We're at the end of the season now.
I would pay I pay £20 for one mode. That is a fair price for me. £80 for one mode? No.
It's not how it works. It's not how it works.
But I do not care about the other modes. The other modes are garbage. This mode is fun.
No. In your opinion, they are. They're not actually.
They're no fun to me.
Fine. Buy the game when it comes out. Scrub. Or get good.
Scrub. Yes, but anyway, like it's kind of bullshit though. Do you not think that it's like I'm getting off in this bit?
No, I think the time that you've come into, you're buying the game practically in the summer when the league's usually over. The only reason it's even still on TV is because of COVID. So at this stage, the last NBA game's practically dead, or people are already where they need to be. You're buying it half price, less than half price, third of the price. Like, and we're about to go into next year's game. Like, we're a few months away from next year's game. No, you're not correct in this one.
Not out yet.
I'm saying we're about to. I didn't say it was out. I said we're about to hit next year's game in a few months, and you're complaining about a year-old game that you paid pennies for. You've paid more to go to the cinema than this for something you don't own.
This is probably about the same time that I bought the last game, though. And this didn't
the thing was with that game is the people you're trying to play with bought it at the same time as you.
They did, but
there's your issue. You're the issue here. You can see that.
Oh no, the issue is that there are no people in the neighbourhood.
Because they're all better. They're all better than you.
The fun part of the game
because you're not good.
There's no one in this.
Win well or buy the game when it comes out.
Even if I was good, it would still take me days and days and days of playing.
Not if you bought it when it came out. You're buying it practically in a year after it came out. We're now in 2021. Like, 2021 NBA is always last year's game. This year's game's 2022. I'm even done with the NBA game now. That's why I'm staying away from spending even more money on it. Like, it's at the end of the season. There's no point in playing this game anymore.
Anyway, I wanted to play NBA with my friends, and I could not because I was locked out.
You couldn't because you bought it at the end of the season.
Rookieville.
Yeah.
So that is bullshit to me.
It's not. Bullshit. Well, to you, yeah, but I don't think 2K is going to cry about it or lose your custom.
2K did not want me to play with my friends. That upsets me.
Well, they did, but you just didn't buy it when it came out. Like everybody told you to. You refused to for some reason, even though you got many hours of enjoyment out of the game the past 2 years, I believe, now at this point. And you're like, no, I'm not buying it. And then Ian and Mark got it. They play it all the time. Like, I've been speaking with Ian about it for 6 months, and you're just like, nah. Then you see it cheap as chips, and you're like, oh, I want it. Now, this is the same price as a magazine. I'll take it. You know?
It was. Wait, what kind of fucking magazines did you buy?
There's old ladies that top up their mobiles more than that. Every week. £30, son. And you're moaning about a £20 game that you bought at the end of the season. That's like buying last year's COD and expecting folks still on it all the time. Shut up.
People are 100% still on last year's
Not as
COD. Not as many. Last year's FIFA. Black Ops Cold War, the current COD game, yes, people still play that all the fucking time.
Whatever. Whatever, Andy. Buy the game when it comes out.
Last year's FIFA, many people still on that.
No one has sympathy for you just now, Andy.
Problem is because they've gated off rookies, which is sad.
If you were a basketball player, you'd be the guy Dennis Nedry. That's who you are in Space Jam.
Okay, fair enough. Aside from that, I did play.
Move. Be gone.
Aside from that, yeah, I did play. I played that Knockout City, which is on Game Pass. That's the
Fortnite
dodgeball game. Did you ever look at this yet?
No, it doesn't have any interest.
This game's actually a lot of fun. Like, it reminds me of a cross between Splatoon and Rocket League, right?
Even less interest.
You like Splatoon. Splatoon is good. And Rocket League, maybe you don't like that, but like it more reminds you of Rocket League because it's like 3-on-3. Because you're playing with 2 friends against 3 other people. Basically, you have to go around the map, grab a ball, and chuck it at someone else to try and hit them with it. And the cool thing about it is though, you can catch the ball, and it doesn't let it hit you. So like, if you press the button right now, instead of the ball hitting you and taking off some of your health, you'll catch the ball and then you can throw it back at the other person or throw it at someone else. And you can also pass the ball to your friends, which is fun. So it's like basketball, Ali.
Is Ben Stiller in it?
But you throw the ball at your friends. Or not your friends, at your enemies. I think you would actually like this game. Good.
I doubt it.
A little bit of refinement still, but like as a starting point, like it's good fun. Like good fun. But it is going to sit in amongst those type of games, like with Fall Guys, Rocket League, those type of games. It's like a casual game that you play for like an hour here and there. But it is fun. I will give it that. It's got the potential to do more, obviously, because you do have like like skins and stuff you can unlock, and you're unlocking hats and fucking shorts and t-shirts and all the rest of it.
Sure.
You can make your guy look whatever way you want as you unlock stuff, but I don't really care about that. And then lastly, I did play more of. I played a tiny bit of Judgment. I only just progressed the story a little bit, so I don't have anything much more to say about it. Apart from that, I do like the combat in that game. Like, I know you don't like it, and I was kind of soured on it a little bit before, but like after having played that Yakuza Kiwami, like the combat in this feels way better. It's just much faster and fluid and easy. And yeah, I like the conversational tree stuff, but yeah, don't have that much more to add about that. And then I did play a couple hours more of Mass Effect 1 on the Legendary Edition, and so I still like the story. I've gotten up to the point now where I've become a Spectre, and
basically the title screen.
I've gone in search of some lady on some faraway planet.
Liara,
yeah. I've gone in search of her on this
Liara.
And I didn't mind the exploring the galaxy thing. That was basically the same as Andromeda. And I remember people moaned about Andromeda's galaxy map thing and said that it was shit and there weren't enough planets you could go to.
It's
Mass
true.
Effect 1's the exact same.
No,
There's
it's
no
not.
planet.
There is a lot of planets you can go to. You just haven't explored all the systems and nebulas. There's a lot.
But I mean, basically on every one that you go to, there's one planet you can go to, which is the same as Andromeda.
Not true. This is not true. You've not explored everywhere. You've just become a Spectre. You've been to like 2 galaxies.
Yeah, well, I've been to a few, and like so far it seemed that there was one place I could go to.
Maybe at the start, but yeah, the rest of it's wrong. And the fact that there's only like 3 races in Andromeda, I'm not saying Andromeda's bad. I'm just saying it's definitely not as varied and was a lot more rushed than Mass Effect. Plus, the relationships don't have half the impact that these ones do in the story.
I mean, I'm going to rank these Mass Effect games and
Good for you, but you're wrong if you don't rank every one of the original Mass Effect trilogies above Andromeda. Like, is wrong. I said the other day, I think the Mass Effect trilogy is as good as the original Star Wars trilogy, story-wise and character-wise. Absolutely is.
Story-wise and character-wise, there's definitely something here, and I'm enjoying that aspect of it. Like, I like this whole thing of like going after Saren.
Let's call it let's call it what it is. You're still playing a 14-year-old game. There's no way around it. I've even admitted that, but
the thing is, the story. I don't think the story's aged badly.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah, the story like is what is carrying me through the game because the gameplay is shit. Like, it's really bad. The choices and stuff, those are good. Like, and the dialogue and all that business, I like all that side of it. And like running around as normal is fine. Shooting is garbage though. Even with the sniper rifle, it just does not feel natural at all. Even with the tweaks and changes that you say they've made, it just feels horrible.
Oh, it's like night and day if you go back to the original and compare it. Like, if you think this is bad, this is good. This is good shooting compared to the original.
But I just kind of want to try and batter through this and
get to 2. Yeah.
No, I know that's going to be better.
Oh, 100%. You're going to love the 2 and 3 much better than that one because they're far more optimized. I'm sure they're on different versions of the Unreal Engine, I think it was on. Yeah.
So, like, I'm just paying my dues here to get my story is the way that I'm considering this to be. So, however, I went and landed on a couple of planets. And this is new to me because I hadn't landed on a planet in this game before. And all I did was
you had to use the Mako, didn't you?
And I had to use the Mako, which I didn't know what the Mako was. So the Mako's like a car, like it's the worst car.
It's a rover. It's a rover.
Yeah. It's the worst driving machine I've ever piloted in my entire life.
Again, it's improved immensely since the original. So.
Oh my god! How could it have been worse? Jesus.
Oh, it is. It's a lot worse. Like, imagine less control and it felt heavier.
Oh no, thank you. Like the I can't remember what the rover was called in Andromeda, but like, it was okay.
There is rovers in 2 and 3. I believe one of them's a hover one as well. They're nowhere near as awful as the controls of the Mako.
But yeah, so like driving this thing, like it's the worlds as well. The worlds are absolutely empty. Like, there are 4 points on the map, and that is it. There is nothing else in the world whatsoever.
The world hasn't got much apart from the base that you need to get to, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much so. Like,
there's sometimes minerals to survey, but there's sometimes thresher moths to fight. I don't know if you won't have come across one of them yet. They're like tremors almost that come out and...
So I'll tell you about that in a minute, but like the first planet I landed on, because I wasn't totally sure where to go. It's like, go to this place and find this woman. So I'm like, okay, I'll go to this place, and then I realised I could go to all these fucking places, and I'm like, what the fuck one was it? And I couldn't remember how to get back into the menu to find out what the text of what it was. It didn't.
Couldn't remember how to press start.
No, I couldn't remember.
Start
like
journal. It tells you what planet.
No, I know it does, right? But like I couldn't remember like where it was and what mission it was in, because I happened to accidentally be on the, you know, there's 2 tabs for your missions. One's like
the secondary, yeah.
And I didn't realise there was a sub-tab, like the secondary tab. And I was on that, and I'm like, oh, I thought I had a mission to go and find this woman, but like it doesn't seem to be here now. Well, I'll just go and land on a planet and see what happens.
It shows how early on you are, though, when you're referred to Liara as this some woman that I'm going to find. Like,
yeah.
Really?
I'm assuming she joined the party, because there's one woman in the middle.
She's like one of the main love interests, and always the love interest I choose, male or female.
Okay. I might not like her though, because she's an alien.
She's a blue alien. Like, come on now.
Maybe I like green aliens or red aliens.
Well, there's Rex and Gas for that.
I know. No, but so I went and landed on a planet, and I'm like, okay, I don't seem to have like an objective here for like this mission, because I looked at the points on the map. But there's a thing here. I'll go over to it and see what there is. And yeah, it's just a fucking empty desert world. that has like one base sitting here, and there are some guys at it that I could shoot and kill, and then go inside the base and like nothing. I'm like, okay, well, that was not
completely untrue, because a lot of these bases do have like storage lockers with upgrades and weapons, and that's how to find some of the best weapons in the game. Even though I'm not completely sticking up for it, because you're right, in a 14-year-old game, the landscapes are absolutely barren, as should be expected. But for its time, like when I played it, like this was incredible to drive about a planet of this size. It's not acceptable now, which is fine, because that's your view. That's your view of the game. But for me, playing it on nostalgia, I'm like, cool, I know where I'm going. I just need to head here. So to me, it's just background, you know. But there are some of the better weapons in the game you can only find through these remote substations in the middle of nowhere, which does kind of suck. So I don't bother with them in my first playthrough. 100%. I don't explore everywhere. I was going to ignore most of the side quests, and then I'm like, certain ones of them do affect Mass Effect 2 and 3. That's your issue with this game, is like, even though it's got its issues, it's very much playable, but if you skip it, you're missing out. It's like watching Empire and Jedi and not going and watching A New Hope. It's like, why would you do that? Like, you're missing a big chunk of the story here, and the fact that your story carries over, so it feels like your story from beginning to end. Like, you will get through it. I mean, it's not a long RPG. I reckon you have this done in under 25 hours easily, unless you decide to explore everywhere, which I don't think you will because of the barrenness of it. So,
absolutely not, mate. Yeah, there's no way.
20 hours, I would say you can have this done in.
But yeah, so like the first planet I went to, like killed all the things, got whatever it was in that base, and then I'm like, I need to work out what to do here. So then that's when I went back out, checked through the menus, and found that I could switch the tab over
to primary. Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, this is where I need to go. And then went to the place, whatever Tau system it was or something. So went there, and then it's like, oh, there's a distress beacon here. I'm like, okay, right, we'll go to the distress beacon. That's fine.
Oh, the Marines.
This must be what it is. No, not I don't know if it's Marines or what, but like, yeah, like you're talking about, fucking giant graboid thing.
The Thresher Maw. Yeah, I just beat that. Yeah, they've done it yesterday.
And I'm like, okay, right, so I need to kill this thing then to be able to rescue this woman. Fine.
Oh no, she's not on that planet. No.
What? She's not. What?
You're in the wrong cluster. Yeah, she's not on that. No.
I'm on the Tau system. It said go to someplace Tau, and I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
but that's the system. You're in the wrong planet section of the system.
It's the only planet I can land on.
No, it's not. No, it's not. If you back out and you go to the right or left, like go to. She's not on the planet with the Thresher Maw.
So I went and looked at all the planets that were in the area, right? And it's like, I'm like, oh, Tau place, go. Yeah. Place. And then looked at all the planets, and the only one I could land on is this one that has this fucking big graboid thing on it.
You're right, yeah, for the Artemis, that part. But see if you push zoom out in the galaxy map, and I don't mean zoom out so you can see them all. Zoom out and go to the left. She's on, what's the name of it? It's not Pharos, is it? No, she's not in Pharos.
So is that part of the Tau place as well then?
Yeah, it's part of the cluster.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Cool, that's fine. That's good because I will come away from that.
You're on a side mission planet. Liara is on. Oh, what's the name of it? Therum. She's on Therum.
Okay, I don't think that's what I am. So I will come out of there and go to that place instead. Then
it's on the Knossos system, which is not in the. It's part of the Artemis Cloud cluster, but it's on. You're in one system. Do you know what I mean? So the system you're in, you need to zoom out of and choose another system and zoom into. Because even though you travelled to the Artemis Tau place, you went into the wrong system of the cluster.
Just give me a big galaxy.
It's a big galaxy. It's a 14-year-old game. There was no such thing. Andy, why don't you mark a waypoint? Why don't you find it and push the map and then mark your waypoint and go, oh, I'll head there. Like you put a flag down in Fortnite.
Oh, I was in the right place because this woman needs my help. There's a distress signal. I'm like, cool.
You're in the right place to save the Marines.
Oh my god, I'm not saving the fucking Marines. The Marines can die in a fire.
No, they're already dead by the time you get there. Well, you're at the Thresher. The Thresher Maw's there and they're all lying dead bodies. So there's a weapon storage locker there that's worth opening. It's got some good ammo there. It's got some good cryo ammo out of it last night because I beat the Thresher Maw. It's really easy.
It was not easy. I was trying to shoot it with this fucking
the rocket.
Mako. Oh my god, that's the worst thing ever. Like it's terrible at shooting. It's terrible at driving. if you get out, then the thing eats you. So
Oh, don't get out the car. That's crazy. You're an insane person.
I tried to do it in the car, and like he ended up just stabbed right through my car. I'm like, right, I guess I'm dead.
Just dodge him. Just stay away from him. But yeah, you can leave. Just push. So you're playing on PlayStation. Push square and return to Normandy.
That was a rigmarole as well to fucking work out that, because I'm like, how the fuck did I
Right,
get
tells
back out
you.
here?
You've just been skipping past screens.
No, it does not.
It fucking does.
It doesn't.
Okay.
In Andromeda, I remember it telling me like I think it was hold square or triangle to go back to the.
So you knew the button going in. So what's your complaint?
Because this one you have to go into like the pause menu and
No,
go
you
into
don't.
the map. And
No, you don't.
You do. You do.
Andy,
you have to go into
you
the
don't.
map.
You push square and it says return to Normandy at any point when you're on a planet in the Mecho.
Not for me.
It does. Don't do it when you're near the maw to try and escape. Drive away from the fucking thing and see when you're like away from a battle, a boss fight. You can't.
This was before when I was on the first planet, because after I'd cleared all the guys, I was like,
No,
right,
you push
I
square
got
at
it.
any point.
It doesn't work. It's not work.
It does work.
But yeah, it's a very old, antiquated game with some bullshit mechanics.
It is.
The story's good. So,
It's a bit like saying Star Wars doesn't look amazing, A New Hope, but it's an amazing story and film.
okay.
Like I'd say the prequel trilogy and sequel trilogy is much better CGI and graphics compared to the original trilogy.
I don't know about the prequel trilogy. Like, I would say
No,
the
you're right.
original trilogy maybe
Yeah,
holds
this-
up better than the prequel trilogy.
Well, it depends what movie it is, but the sequel trilogy...
Practical effects.
Yeah, that's
Because
what I
of
mean.
practical-
Yeah. So the sequel trilogy is probably a better example of that. But yeah, I mean, it's still good. It's still worth playing. I will be playing through it again, but I love this game. I think it's very different from you going in fresh. I think you're more likely to, after you've played through them, if you wanted to play through as John at some point down the line, is you'll go back to Mass Effect 2 and you can do the Dark Horse comic at the start and just choose your choices that you made in Mass Effect 1. So it's as if your choices are carrying over. They made this for the PS3 because Mass Effect 1 wasn't out when Mass Effect 2 came out. So
Yeah, so yeah, I didn't really play anything else. That's pretty much it.
cool. We'll finish up there then.
I do want to play more Judgment.
Judgment, which is spelt right.
Judgment, which is spelled
Annoyingly.
right. We just thought. Judgment and judgment are different meanings entirely for some reason. Very strange.
Yeah. And they've got it right on the box of this.
They have it right, and we were wrong entirely. So
I was
apologies to
adamant as well.
Apologies to the guys that made that game. Like, we were so convinced that they spelled it wrong, and
Yeah.
they didn't. They spelled it fucking right. So
Yeah, and it's the actual legally accepted version of the spelling in Britain as well. So, hey,
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, we'll finish up there. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching. Let us know if you're getting on with Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I can see we've had 2 live viewers, so hi to those people. Might have been me logged in. If not, great. Thank you for watching. Check out Fred Rojas on Retroactive Podcast. Oh my God, does anyone buy 2 cats? They're really annoying me. So, Retroactive Podcast, Fred Rojas has done a couple episodes. Check him out. Tell him we sent you. And if the people will like what they've seen here and want to see or hear more, where can they do so throughout the week? What are we doing and all that sort of jazz? Andy?
9 PM UK time every weekday. Right here on 40 to Level 1. YouTube.com/40 to Level 1. On a Monday, you've got me still sucking at Bloodborne. On a Tuesday, you're right here with the 40 to Level 1 podcast. On a Wednesday, it's Gears of Wednesday. We're playing through the Gears of War series, currently on Gears, not of War 5. We're maybe like a couple episodes into that, and then after that, we're going to play Hive Busters to round it off. On a Thursday, you have Gadabout Thursdays with Ali, where he does whatever the fuck he wants. And I don't remember. You didn't do an episode this week, did you?
No, I've had, like I said, I've had a long week with the kids being ill, so Thursday was like a no-go because Lexi woke up Leo woke up Lexi. I did have a video actually planned to do at the weekend, but it was the same situation. They've been really ill. Luckily, Lexi's she's just got a blocked nose. She's back at nursery sort of thing, so this week should be back to normal. I have no idea what I'm doing this Thursday. I was going to do Resi 8, but I'm not just going to replay a section over and over again because it's a very small section I'm stuck at. I would rather beat that and then stream Resi again.
I don't know. I think it might be funny to watch you like bang your head against a brick wall. Like,
oh no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Like I do every Monday.
Yeah, I'm not doing it for an hour. There's no way that I'm doing that on repeat. If I try it once or twice at a time, and if I don't do it, I'm like, okay, I'm putting it off because I want to play Resi. I like it, but I'm not getting so annoyed at a game that it busts me. Like Returnal's deleted off my console, so there'll be none of that. I don't think Ratchet's next week. I think it's like
I think it's 2 weeks away. This is why you should buy physical games, Ali.
No, I'm not going to happen. You know that.
Trade in Returnal for like 40 quid.
No, I'm not going to have it.
You would save yourself £40.
No, it's fine. I'd rather not. I actually like having digital games. So, plus, like,
you'll never play Returnal again.
I would download it to show somebody the rain effect. I'd be like, look at this. Look how cool that is in the controller.
Wow.
So I have no idea what I'm going to be playing this week at all. I will say something about Fortnite. I'm kind of disappointed with issue 2 of the comic because they gave away a Batman's glider, which is already part of the Batman set that you could buy in the store. And for me, what they released in the comic should have been completely separate from what you can buy in the store. It should have been exclusive. And so far, I think just the Harley Quinn outfit that I got the first week has been the only exclusive costume. And I know that once you redeem all 6, you get an additional bonus, which is the Armoured Batman. But that's 3 issues in, and so far I've got Harley Quinn, fair enough, but then I've got Catwoman's grapple hook. You can buy that in the store. And Batman's glider, I can also buy this in the store. So I'm hoping the next 3 issues are a wee bit better. But fairly let down with those last 2.
What they should have maybe done with those is done like palette swaps for skins.
Yeah, a slightly different version.
Yeah, I understand it takes a little bit of time to like develop like a skin and like even a backbling and like
yeah, but you could have made it like the grey version, only available in the comic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you had a grey version or like a blackout version.
Yep, I'd have been fine with that. But it's the same glider, same glider.
Yeah, that's kind of shit.
And I was going to give it to you, and then I realised I can't waste it because I need to redeem all 6 codes to get Armoured Batman.
Yeah, no. I don't want it anyway, so don't worry about that. I've got my Aloy skin. I'm happy. I've got an Ant-Man skin. Like, oh, what more do I need? I have not played as Ant-Man as well. Actually, I need to play some next time.
Yeah.
And then finally on a Friday for us, we have the 42 news where we wrap up all the video game news stories of the week that you need to know about.
Yes. So, give us a like, subscribe, share with your friends, leave a comment, let us know what you think, and you can catch us on Twitter. I've been Ali, he's been Andy. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching our podcast, and we will both catch you tomorrow night for Gears of Wednesday.